Let's do this. All right. We're the main camera's right there, right? Or no, right there. That's perfect.
Yours,
yeah, that's. I only talk to myself, anyways. Everything Mayor on the road with Alex Meyer. And you might recognize him from Super Dangerous Studios. Yes. If you haven't checked out those videos yet, please do. Even if you're not a guitar player, because this podcast is for John Mayer fans. It's hard to escape guitar when you talk John Mayer. But I feel like your videos on your channel, Super Dangerous Studios, would be entertaining for non-guitar players as well. So there's your plug.
I try to not be a gatekeeper for entertainment, right?
Well, you've allowed me here to the studio, so you're clearly not a gatekeeper.
Yeah, it's a secret location.
You opened your doors. But we are going to talk John Mayer today, but we're going to talk the best or your favorite song on each John Mayer studio album. So those of you who want to bring in the trio stuff, no. Live stuff, no. Just the 8 studio albums. So we're going to do them in order of release.
Great.
And I don't know what you've picked.
Right.
You don't know what I've picked.
I don't want to.
Well, you're going to find out. And so are you.
I want to know. Yeah. I just don't want it to infiltrate
my... Yeah, well, I'll leave when you do yours and I'll come back.
I'll tell you. You lucky people.
And then I won't even edit this. Well, I'll watch it and I'll figure it out later. But no, we're gonna go through and we're going to justify our positions, I guess.
Room for Squares.
Room for Squares, first album, 2001-ish.
I remember listening to this in my dorm room.
Yeah?
Blowing my mind. Right?
Yeah. What blew your mind about it initially?
Initially, it was just the guitar playing and instrumentation, because at that time, I don't know if any of you are old as me, but like at that time, it was like grunge. It was all grunge. So it was like heavy. There's a Korn was like very popular.
Oh yeah,
Limp
sure.
Bizkit. So that was like, if you're a guitar player, like that was like the predominant sound on radio, because, and even like more intricate grunge, like Stone Temple Pilots and Soundgarden, like that had like fallen away, and like in came 311 and Slipknot. Maybe not by 2001. But
I love that we're
Linkin Park.
We're referencing Slipknot on a John Mayer podcast.
So it was like a huge breath. I was like, oh, there's like guitar is back. Like actual guitar playing is back. And nothing against, post grunge, but like, sometimes you want to hear something else.
Sure.
And he was something else. And so my pick on that album, City Love.
Oh,
I love that riff. Because it's mirroring the melody line. It's a really interesting voicing. It's like all in sixths, I think, but it's just like a great sounding line for the guitar. And then the song sounds like you're in New York. It's like a crazy kind of thing. It's like it feels like you're in New York. Captured
that beautifully. Now this is interesting. I was not prepared for you to pick that, and I'll tell you why. Because so here's my pick. I already know it, but I'm gonna reference my piece of paper anyways. Back to You. Back to You. And the reason why I think it's interesting is because that record is primarily, it's very acoustic driven. Yeah. Most of the big songs that people think about or guitar players learned even were all those like opening acoustic riffs. Yeah. My Stupid Mouth, Why Georgia, No Such Thing, Wonderland, all that. But these two songs are, aside from Neon, I think those are the, they're like the more electric driven songs, right? Which is interesting that we both gravitated towards that.
I just loved it's just the energy of that. Yeah. It's like, and not that he can't play acoustic guitar, but it's just not where his spirit is. You can tell the songs that he writes on electric. It's like, that's just, you can see that's where he fits.
Yes. Yeah. And it's funny because I think, it's purposeful to have more of an acoustic driven thing at the time, because that was probably seen as more accessible. It was also a solo act, so there's probably just a practicality thing, happening.
Well, wasn't who are the other guys, like Duncan Sheik?
Yeah, Duncan. Yeah, sure. Sean Mullins,
Damian Rice,
right?
Yeah. Like all these,
he came up that
was like the acoustic singer songwriter.
Yeah, and the obvious, he got kind of lumped in with Dave Matthews a lot too, which I always found to be funny. He's clearly a Dave Matthews fan, but they're so different. And then I think these songs, Back to You, City Love, is where you really see that difference. Back to You is one of the few guitar solos, I think, maybe the only legit guitar solo on that record. Is that right? I think so.
City Love has a solo.
Does it have a solo?
Doesn't it?
It does. It does.
Yeah.
It does. At least it does live. I don't know if it does on the record? Someone tell us at home. If you're
Comment below.
if you're watching this, you can comment. If you happen to be listening, then just yell at whatever you're listening on. Okay, so I'm very curious to see where this goes. And of course, if you are on YouTube, please comment along with your choices as well. All right, so Heavier Things, the next record.
No, you go first.
I'm gonna go first. And my theme is gonna continue. So I chose Wheel, which I believe is the last song on the record.
Yeah.
Beautiful guitar solo.
Yeah.
But I remember after I chose this, I remembered hearing him say in an interview that he felt like it was a good concept, but he didn't. It didn't quite hit what he wanted to hit, so almost missed the mark. So it's interesting that he thinks that, but I'm like, I would have been happy with writing only that song in my life. You know, I would have quit after that. So
I'll put it at the end.
yeah, he played it's a threat. I didn't really hit it. And, you know, it's fine.
Put it on. Why
Yeah.
not? I'm like, man, what were the other B-sides?
Right? Yeah. What didn't make it? If that was your least favorite, so that was my and this is hard. It's favorite and best, I guess. But I think it's more. My list is more favorite.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, mine's favorite. I don't
Favorite.
think best because it's like
How can you say best?
Best.
Yeah.
Like
What does that
that's-
mean? Best for me, which, i.e., favorite. So
I got Come Back to Bed because
Okay, yeah.
I love 6/8 feel, and then it just feels like a country western. It feels like he was like adapting like all these pedal steel lines for that song, and the sentiment of it I thought was a really interesting position where he was like come on, like just come back here, like let's stop. I mean, that's not almost like all of his stuff. It's like let's stop fighting.
right, there's a lot.
He's
of,
a lover
There's a lot of
right?
yeah, friends, lovers, or nothing. Yeah.
He but the way the guitar line in that song, like especially in that outro, don't hold your hand over my that really is like a very sad guitar line, and I think it's really cool. It really is an interesting sound.
Yeah, that was one of the first songs that I think he really would stretch out like blues guitar type things live on. I remember seeing that tour, and it was, you know, there were solos, but it was certainly like that was the point where, like, if you look back on it, like, oh, okay, I see. That's where he like allowed the Stevie Ray Vaughan like thing to come in live. Not so much on the record, but live it became this vehicle for him to like just, you know, do the blues pentatonic shredding.
Oh,
you know,
I don't think I remember.
Yeah, like I think I want to say Austin City Limits. He did a show, like a TV thing,
And he ripped it.
yeah, and I just remember it being like, oh, okay, that's where we like kick on the tube screamer and go for it, John. Very cool. So wait, did I give mine? I went first on that one, didn't I?
Yeah.
I
So
said
now
Wheel.
Martin, yeah.
Okay. All right. I can't read my handwriting, but luckily I know what the next record is on his discography, and that would be Continuum.
Yeah.
So
Heavy. Remember that came out too?
I do.
That was like, okay, John Mayer's here.
Yeah,
Because everyone was kind of like Heavier Things. Like they were like, I mean, sophomore album's always hard for any artist.
But everything's had daughters on it though.
Right.
Which was dangerous because that almost pigeonholed him to the Your Body is a Wonderland Daughters type thing.
Right.
Which is
And
funny.
it almost got him like a third house too. Right? You know,
So dangerous
It's like
to have. Yeah.
There's that one.
Yeah.
There's that one documentary of him and like Kanye in the studio, and he holds up his watch, and it's like a diamond encrusted like Patek or something. And he's like, "That's daughter's money." And I'm like, "Yo," it was like on MTV.
Was that the? I remember that.
Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
And he goes in for the handshake and completely.
That
like,
was incredible. But he had
reenacts it.
the sweater with like 4 pop collars underneath. Yeah.
The Abercrombie
the
American
polos,
Eagle
Oh,
vibe,
dude.
where it's just like there's collars.
Yeah, I'm
going
sweating
everywhere.
just thinking about wearing that right now.
Okay.
Okay, so
Here we go.
we'll do rock paper scissors.
Okay, ready?
To see. Okay, ready. One off. That's it.
Well, rock paper scissors shoot. You
Got
going
it.
shoot?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Rock paper scissors shoot. Ah, come on. Rock paper scissors shoot. Okay, that's paper on rock. Alex wins for those of you listening.
I don't trust myself loving you.
Ooh.
Because I love I think it was an envelope filter. I like, and then the solo is so cool. And I like the sentiment of the song because I feel like the arrangement of the song matches the sentiment really well. And that's something that always like sticks out for me.
Yeah.
Like, the songs that I gravitate towards. I'm like, does that sound like the feeling he's going after? And it does. I mean, there's a lot of great guitar work across that album. I almost picked Assassins. Oh wait, no,
Different
that's
record.
a different record.
Different
I'm
record
sorry.
coming up,
I
maybe.
trust myself loving you. Yeah.
Good call. I just watched a whole thing on the bass line from that song, which I think is because there's 2 basses on it, 2 bass guitars.
Oh, is it?
There's
Charlie
two.
Hunter and Pino? Or
No, Charlie Hunter was on In Repair, but there's Pino Palladino. Well, I mean, there's two bass tracks, both of which I think Pino Palladino played on the record, but two very distinct parts. So if you're doing your homework, go listen to that. There's like a little slap pop thing on like thirds going up, and then there's the bum 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 part. So yeah.
Oh, I gotta check it out then.
See,
I gotta
so you were
listen.
too distracted by the lyrics and the opening guitar melody, which are both incredible.
You know, I was just wow.
I mean, well, it's hard to ignore that. I mean, it kind of defines the song. And
No,
I mean,
but
it
okay,
really
I gotta
does.
go back with critical ear.
Yeah,
And I'll be- okay.
I studied up before this. It is my show, so I have to bring it strong. Okay, so where on my Continuum choice, I chose Belief, the second song on the record, because I feel like because I remember obviously the first song I heard was Waiting on the World to Change. I heard on the radio,
Yeah.
and it doesn't seem so different now, but like at the time I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, this is left field for John Mayer. It's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
what is this? Like,
Yeah.
it was, it's such a groovy thing. And the vocal was a lot higher than, I was used to from him.
Yeah.
But then Belief, I feel like that was where, when I heard that song, that's the first time I heard his guitar recorded on one of his songs on a studio record where I was like, that is quintessential John Mayer. You will identify this sound just by hearing the guitar from this point on.
Yeah.
Like he will now be one of those players that you're like, I don't need to hear them sing. I don't need to see them. I know it's him just by hearing the sound of a weed whacker. No. If you can hear that at home.
It's like Red Versailles, you know. And there's groundskeepers working day and night
To
make
keep
sure
it green.
each prune is
Just
perfectly aligned
just
to like
perfect.
the golden ratio. I'm like, what
Yeah.
is going on with these? I mean, they're a lot better look.
we're gonna
really
look at
good.
it afterwards. That's for sure. I will be
It's frigging
as
good.
I try to back out of your driveway and drive all over it.
Okay. You know, I love the outro groove where he did the na 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 na.
Oh yeah,
He's doubling the line with his
Yeah.
guitar. It's really cool, like very 70s.
he is king for bringing a new theme that you haven't heard before at the end of a song.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm like,
most
make that a song.
Yeah, because I mean, and there's such good hooks normally. Like that, I mean, he does it just. If you go listen to all these songs, like it's like his thing is to bring in like it'd be like that double chorus at the end, but it's just he doesn't just do it twice. Like the second chorus will have this new theme
Yeah.
you have not heard yet in the song.
Yeah.
and it's like, like you said, it's this amazing hook that you're just gonna latch onto. So
Because
yeah,
it's like grooving like a I mean, that was like probably his most like political song.
sure
to that point.
Oh yeah, That- 06,
And it's
07.
still pretty like hands off politically.
It is, yeah,
It's
it
like,
is, yeah.
and he played that right. He
Yeah,
played
he
that
goes
right.
right down the middle.
He's like,
Yeah, he's-
everyone's
yeah.
like, I vaguely agree.
You have not angered anyone. But I feel like
he's very shrewd in that
he was
regard.
judicious in his choice of words.
It absolutely was.
Yeah.
But like that was like a very like 70s protest kind of like melody. Na 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 na. Like harkened towards like those old like, you know, Vietnam War era songs.
Yeah.
Which
goes back to, like you said, with City Love, the matching of the lyrical content with the music portion.
Yeah.
You know, it's very intentional and very it's well thought out. Obviously, it's not just like, hey, here's a cool melody and here's a cool guitar part, let's throw those two things together. They work very much in conjunction with one another. I'll go first. I'll go first in this one. So up next, Battle Studies, which was the same production crew with Pino Palladino and Steve Jordan as Continuum. Why not continue the magic, right? Yes.
Continuum.
I said it. And you mentioned this previously, if it makes the final cut, but you did mention the song Assassin, and that is my choice.
That's my choice.
Awesome. Amazing. So here's my reason for that. I mean, again, it was another one of those moments like, I've never heard him do something like this before. And I've wanted more of that since. Like, I want him to do a much more rock inspired, just crank out some power chords on that, PV, EVH guitar that he used on this song. Like, just, and I want to hear, maybe not a whole record, but like, something more in that vein from him. But maybe that's why I like the song so much, because it really represents something that he hasn't really done on any other recording other than that one. So
right.
That's why I chose it.
I liked it because it reminded me of like Peter Gabriel. Felt like a Peter Gabriel.
Oh, certainly the beginning. Yeah, the beginning.
Like it felt like a Genesis song.
Yeah,
it like had this very kind of like like everything in the 80s, like all these love songs in the 80s were like I'm under attack. And like they use like love is a battlefield, right?
Fits
it's
with
like,
the theme thing again, battle studies, assassin. I mean, like it all again. Like
right.
you see, it's as it progresses, they're all sort of tied together.
And like but like 80s, like love is a battlefield, right? Like
Totally,
everything in the 80s was like, and like I'm dating someone and I'm gonna kill them. But like,
metaphorically speaking,
in the song,
but with my song.
But it's maybe I should do that.
It's great. Yeah, keep it going.
Okay,
it's raw here on everything, Mayor.
I was like, I can give you another take, but that's fine. I can keep going. So just, but it was, it just felt like that kind of like the stakes are so high for me in this relationship. Which is why I loved it.
Yeah, I mean that's the vibe.
And they saves the chorus. It's like 2 minutes in.
You're right. Yeah, it takes a while.
Just 2 verses.
He does, yeah.
And then so you're waiting. You're like, where is this chorus?
Wow, you're right. That's a good point. Yeah, that's.
And so it's this huge relief because it's not resolving. Like the harmony is not resolving. The rating. You're like, okay, let's keep going. Come on, because he's building the tension, he's setting the stage, and then the drums come in. It's just which reminds me of what's that one? In the Love Tonight.
The Phil Collins.
Phil Collins, right? So like that song, another one. That's like 3 verses, but same idea where it's like it waits to give you.
True.
You know why? This is why. They knew I have the best hook I've ever written, and you're gonna wait for it. You're gonna wait, and if you want to hear it, you gotta wait for it. Because this isn't a single, right? That wasn't.
No.
That was
So I think he knew his album track. So
he's like, this isn't a single, so it's like I can.
Why not do this?
Yeah. Right. Because the Taylor Swift song was on that album, right? Half of My Heart.
Half of My Heart was, I think, the.
And I love that song too.
I do too.
That's a really good.
Actually,
it's like a Tom Petty song.
It is. I almost picked that song as it would have been maybe a controversial pick for the Mayer world, but or even the Taylor Swift world, but I almost picked it because actually I think like as a record, like it's really good. It's really good. Yeah. I dig it. Like it's good.
And then she writes the most, or rather, and then in her song she like gets back at him.
Careful, because this podcast we don't have enough momentum. I can't be taken down by Swifties yet. Yes.
But even the way, even the way that they play the guitar on the Taylor Swift "Hey Dear John."
Oh sure, it's all Mayer.
It's like I'm like, man, they did.
It's like a rap. It's the rap diss track battle, but just in the singer songwriter world.
Well, it's like, do you have to be so heavy-handed? Is what I think. It's like certainly there's a room for a jilted lover, right? Like
sure.
like the world is totally open to hearing your side of this romantic story, but do you have to like sign it like that?
Yeah,
like you didn't have to. Because like imagine being that guitarist in the studio. So it's like, so this is a song about this guy dated John, and you're like, oh, right on, and like she's like, can you play a line like him? And you're like, all right, it's kind of like this, like yeah, exactly like that. Yeah, use the second position. Right. That's what he loves, and I'm like, all right.
Let's see what's happening here.
I'm gonna get blacklisted.
I like the conspiracy theory that he played on it. That's what I like.
Is that actual?
I just made it one.
Okay,
but wouldn't that be something?
Right, like that.
He's actually he's part of it, which I highly doubt is the case.
Like do like remote session. He's like,
I'll throw it in there. Yeah, that's fine. It's all good. Don't come for us. Swifties.
Hey, a job's a job, right?
Yeah. It's session work, man. It's even Mayer's.
Sometimes you're the painter, sometimes you're the muse.
That's right.
Sometimes you're both.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I'm gonna go now. All right.
You're gonna go now? I have to do this alone from this point on? Oh.
Shadow Days.
Well, wait.
Born and Raised, right?
Yeah, because we both picked songs. Oh, so I didn't even get to do the intro to Born and Raised.
I'm sorry. Tell me, Born and Raised. I'm sorry, you're introing each album.
I was, yeah. Okay, so.
Before you come up. Okay, go. So go. Okay, here we go.
All right, so that leaves us with Born and Raised, which is another kind of 180 for him.
Right, didn't he like leave the public eye for this one?
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, and Paradise Valley.
These kind of came. Paradise Valley and Born and Raised came very quickly, one after the other, like 2012 and 2013. So, but amidst vocal issues, there was a period of time in there where he had vocal surgery, and then
Couldn't talk.
Couldn't talk. He had Botoxed vocal cords to freeze them.
How long could he talk? Like a month?
I think it was like 6 months. Because it was multiple attempts to fix the vocal thing, and then it got to a point where like literally could not risk making any sound. That's how bad it was. I had to let it heal. Man. So these albums, the next two albums, come out of that era.
Solitude.
Yeah, era of solitude. You can hear it on some of these songs. Certainly, even in lyrical content too. But I chose "Age of Worry."
Oh yeah.
Age of Worry. And I think part of the reason why I chose this is I've heard some incredible covers of this song that made me appreciate it even more than when I heard him do it. I want to say...
So you like the covers more than the...
Maybe.
Or the covers made you like the original better?
It did,
That's
yeah. It kind of
yeah.
made me come back to the song, actually. Made
like
me
when
appreciate
Glee
the song.
covered Don't Stop Believing, I'm like, I do like Journey.
Yeah, like, I do. Thank you, Leah Michelle. Did Glee ever do a Mayer tune? No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
To their detriment.
Missed opportunity for sure. Fire up that show again. Bring them back and do a Mayer tune. So yeah, Age of Worry. Love as a worry wart myself. I love the sentiment behind the song, and I think that musically speaking, it's really cool too. Aaron Sterling is the drummer.
Oh, Nashville guy.
Yeah, Nashville, right? Somewhere here. Is he here? Is Aaron here? No,
he's busy.
Here.
I called him.
He's not here. But his work on this is it's super cool. He's a great traditional drummer, but also just super creative with different sounds, and they're all over the record, particularly this one. So,
you know what I like too about this song? Because like at the time, I don't know if you guys remember, it was like peak indie folk.
Oh yeah.
So like everyone was like stomping,
hey,
yeah, a lot of haze.
Hey, a lot of haze.
Like getting yelled at all the time on the radio, right? But I feel like John Mayer was able to take that sonic approach and make it into a really touching song, and I kind of like flip it by saying like, "Welcome to the age," or not. What's the actual line? Welcome to the age of worry.
Arrive. Oh wow, you would think that we would know this.
Something
age of worry. Help us in the comments.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Screaming at your screen
but the
right
way
now.
he's like inverting
alive in the age of worry.
Alive in the age
That's
of worry.
It. Yeah.
So it's like, because like traditionally like that kind of beat, it's like a battle cry. Mm-hmm. It's a triumphant song, but in this one it's almost like admitting defeat with like, almost like it's almost like someone's singing it to you, and you're the ones like you're alive in the age of worry. And you're like, oh, bummer.
I am.
And I thought it was a really cool inversion, because everything back then was like, hey, let's go to the farm, and like all that kind of indie folk stuff.
It was, yeah. And I never thought about that it did come out during all of that, but I think to his credit, up until this point, I never conflated those two things. Like I didn't realize that it was you could easily say, oh look, Mayer's country phase or folky phase was around the time of all that being popular, but I never thought about that because he did such a good job,
right? Because he's great taste.
Yeah, because he does have great taste, and that's what we're
here
to
tell you.
It back, that's what we're here to tell you on everything Mayer, is that Mayer has great taste. You know that if you're listening to this or watching it. All right, so what's your pick from Born and Raised?
Shadow Days.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
I'm a good man with a good heart. And it feels like he's trying to apologize, and I think that's it's not self-congratulating. Like, look at me apologizing. He's like asking for forgiveness.
Yeah,
which there's not a lot of, like in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Everyone's really open like that. But as soon as the 90s hit, once grunge hit, no one wanted to apologize for anything. Gen X said, you know what? We're not apologizing for anything. In fact, I'm getting paid too much for my white-collar job, so I'm going to write Fight Club. What's that? Maybe don't include that, but it's like, but like it was something happened where like people decided to stop admitting fault in art, which was like the artist stopped trying to say like, there's no contrition, which was like it's just really weird. You can see it stopped like 92. It's like, now we're done. Mm-hmm. We're not going to ask for forgiveness. We're not going to ask for anyone to come back except for Whitney. She sang a couple songs about that, right? And then John Mayer comes back with this like heater after getting smoked in the press for years. It's
a rough few years.
And he could have come back like arrogant. He couldn't come back and like I'm sorry you're offended. Mm-hmm. The non-apology. But he came back with like a very open and like, I'm trying to do my best and I'm really sorry. And it wasn't like I'll do better. It was just like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And it's a really nice sentiment, and it makes me wish that he was a dad, to be honest.
Oh.
You know, I don't know if you saw that recent podcast he was on with Bob Saget's wife.
I did. I saw it, yeah.
And
Kelly.
he was like, I really want to be a father. I really want a family. And I was like, it made me really sad hearing that. I'm like, he'd probably be a great dad now. Right.
Now,
you know,
post Shadow Days. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I think he's got a lot of insight, you know, and he's certainly goofy enough to be a good dad, which I think is important.
It is. I can tell you, as you well know.
You got to be goofy.
Yes. No, that's good, man. Yeah, I think I do wonder sometimes, like the vocal issues. I mean, I've never had vocal issues to that extent, but I've had certainly overused and laryngitis. You know, things where I've had to go to an ENT to have, and it's freaky. Like it's freaky. So I have to imagine like there's an element of that too, of like going through everything in the press that happened, and you know, tons of different things, and then the vocal thing too is like that's why I think so many people. Like, I didn't really fully appreciate Born and Raised when it came out.
Same.
Honestly, I remember going on that tour. I was like, this is a little slow for me. Like just the presentation, because even the non-Born and Raised songs that were played with the Born and Raised band, I was like, oh, I'm kind of missing something. You know,
right? What is
like
this?
Slow Dancing in a Burning Room is not like the, you know, it's
like really slow dancing.
Yeah, now we're like really slow dancing in this burning room. You know, it's
slow, or it's like slowly dancing in a warm room.
Yeah, exactly. And I've done videos about Mayer's drummers, not ranking them, just commenting on the different ones. And today, Aaron Sterling is my favorite one. At the time, I was like, this guy's out here with a giant marching band snare drum behind him. Like, you know, it's just doing different things. And I didn't get it at the time. But now, both lyrically, just everything, even down to the drum choices, like I get it now. And it's definitely one of my favorite Mayer records, to include those two songs, Age of Worry and Shadow Days. Yeah. All right. So that brings us to the follow-up, Paradise Valley, which, like, I had not processed Born and Raised, and then less than a year later, Paradise Valley gets dropped on my doorstep.
You didn't like that.
Watch out, because here's something. Yeah, here's something.
Best album cover, I think, of all his album covers. It's got the hat, it's got the dog, he's in the grass, Montana.
I remember, because I didn't give Born and Raised the time of day, for a while, thinking that the Paradise Valley cover art was Born and Raised. As a giant Mayer fan, I feel, you know, embarrassed to admit that, but you know,
admitting is the first step.
Yeah, maybe his best album should have had that cover. Maybe they should have swapped it. That's what they should have done. Go back, re-release.
So I picked Paper Doll.
Okay, all right,
because I feel like it's him being a little bit more upbeat. Or rather, not upbeat. It's him being a little less serious, even though it's still like I can't figure this girl out kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But I liked the idea that he was like, okay, the instrumentation is fantastic on it. I love that. It's like got kind of like a Graceland samba thing going on. It's like very kind of a cool like rhythm, and then again he saves that last chorus to be this like drive.
Aaron Sterling again.
I mean, yeah, right. Like, I mean, if you watch his Instagram, you'll see.
Yeah.
Also, Aaron Sterling might be the funniest drummer on Instagram.
Easily. And a side note, Aaron, bring your podcast back. Sterling Talks. Phenomenal podcast. It was like 10 episodes, like 8 years ago, and just brilliant.
So good. I forgot to watch. I really
go back and revisit it.
I haven't checked that out yet.
Anyways, but yeah, down to the drums on that song. Yeah, yeah.
But a really cool build and a really cool sentiment and a great lick, and I feel like it's just like him being like, okay, let me just try this shoe back on again.
Interesting.
What's it interesting?
What do you say?
Interesting.
That was filler, Alex. That's what we call filler, because I didn't know what to say.
If that's what you want, that's your pick.
You just be glad I didn't say crazy. Oh, that's crazy. Anyway, like. No, it was interesting. That's what I mean.
Okay,
leave all that in. That's all staying in. It is absolutely executive decision. All right, so my Paradise Valley pick, Who You Love.
Yeah,
with Miss Katy Perry.
Catherine Perry.
Is that first? I don't know.
I think it sounds better that way.
Catherine Perry.
For
that record, definitely Catherine Perry would make more sense. But I think I'd love the recording. I don't know that I necessarily love the song. I mean, it's one of those like kind of repetitive sort of like say what you need to say type songs where it's the same line used quite a bit. But the recording itself, everything's super compressed. The dry, like I love what they did. And to wear headphones and listen to that song, I think that's what really sold it for me. Is I listened to the album because I honestly have skipped over Paradise Valley quite a few times.
Yeah.
But I accidentally listened to that song once with really nice headphones, and I was like, wait a minute, this is a brilliantly recorded song.
Yeah.
So that's why
and her
it's my
vocals
favorite.
sound great on that.
They do. She's got a great voice. I love her in that setting. Yeah.
Stuff was like this, but I guess no one would buy it. I don't know.
Probably not. They'd skip over it like I did with Paradise Valley. So, but that's my pick. Who you love? So we're nearing. We're getting into the later Mayer. Modern Mayer. Yeah. That's the next podcast. Modern Mayer. Once everything Mayer is done, then we'll do Modern Mayer. So the search for everything. I'm reading this list as though I don't know what record's coming next. The search for everything.
Oh,
you go.
Helpless.
Okay.
Is I think it might be even my favorite John Mayer song of all time.
Nice. Okay.
It is. The riff is insane, and it confuses you for a second because the snare goes ka ka, and you're like, "What?
Yeah, where am I coming in?" Yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly.
Got
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, so that's just the thing to make me feel like okay, but it has like the guitar tone. It's like the first time I heard chorus on a guitar solo since what's pretending Clapton,
Oh yeah.
That's when she said she was pretending.
Totally. And this is pre Sob Rock that he's got chorus on the guitar.
Right. So this was like the first time I heard him. Like, he's right. Chorus is cool. And I argue with people on YouTube all the time about this. Like, chorus, never use chorus. I'm like, yeah, that's because you're not cool.
And we are.
Because it's like if you're cool, you can play chorus. But like if you're not cool, like chorus is like it's really rough.
Yeah.
You just stick to your guitar and your amp because chorus is only if you can handle it because it's a lot of energy.
I don't know that I can. My first real amplifier, we're guitar talk now, was a Fender Princeton chorus, like the solid state. It had two speakers in it, stereo chorus, and I remember just like both everything max out, just and
ride the wave.
I chorused myself into never using that again, basically. So
you chorused yourself out of a job.
I did, certainly. No one hired me with that. So
I mean, chorus is a delicate thing,
it is, but he delicately uses it on Helpless. I think it's subtle enough to where it's not distracting, but it just adds to the experience.
And then there's one more quick thing about this song because like, the outro solo is so fervent and has so much energy on it. It's just like he doesn't even finish his last singing line and the solo's like fighting for the front. Yeah. And I think it's such a cool again, it ties in with like the theme of the song Helpless, where it's like this frantic energy this whole time, like the snare throws you off, like the beat is like really weird, it's like very percussive staccato, a lot of compression. This chorus on this solo like it's coming like out of this like really sad like moany kind of sound, and then the last solo just like goes crazy, and then like Pino's like going absolutely nuts on the bass in the last like two turnarounds. You're just like, what is? I just wish I was at their session. I'm like, it sounds like they were just like going for it.
Yeah. And another song that I think was new, not new. I mean, obviously it was a new song when I heard it, but nothing before it was like that. It's another, another thing where it's like, oh, we've turned another corner. This is very interesting. See, that's a compliment.
Many shades. It's many shades.
Yes, many uses for that word. Now, what did I choose off of this record? Can't read my own writing. Oh yeah, okay, because you'd think I would know this off top of my head. Emoji of a Wave.
Oh yeah.
Which I love the chord progression in that song. Some very cool things happening. It's got, I believe, some of the Beach Boys singing backing vocals on it.
Oh really?
Yeah, those like kind of pad vocal type things are a couple of Beach guys. I don't ask me which ones, but a few of them. Not like John Stamos Beach Boys, like the original Beach Boys. No offense to. He's great. He plays with them now, but he's not. Wasn't on the original stuff. But it's one of my favorites. I think it's an underrated song. I've said it like 4 different episodes of this show that I think it's a very underrated song.
Great title too.
Yeah, I mean, and when I first saw it, before I heard it, I was like, that is not going to age well, because that's a word that I feel like 30 years from now people are going to be like, what? Like, what is that? Maybe emojis will stand the test of time. I don't know. But then I heard this song and I was like, this is brilliant. It's really good. It's really good.
He's really good at understanding, like, what is it called? How you're framing communication, like within like a cultural setting. So like, who did that painting of Pompeii on fire with people running out anyway? But it's like that's like Pompeii on fire, emoji of a wave. You know what I mean? It feels like it's more of like he's describing something,
Certainly.
Not like this is the name of the song. It's like this is what's happening.
Yeah.
Like it was like sent to me in lieu of someone telling me how they feel.
Yeah, totally.
It's like it's the absence of sentiment, which I think he really again, Gen Xer. It's like everything was analog until. And for those of you who, there's no way anyone younger than 25 is watching this. But let's say you are.
I'll check my analytics.
You have no idea. So. Like it was a completely different world.
Yeah.
And like you can't even describe it. It just was different. And now it's not that anymore.
It isn't. No.
And he captures that feeling all the time.
He does. Using something like an emoji, even which is incredible. Because if I had tried to do that as a songwriter, it would not have gone nearly as well. So
I actually had a song called "Emoji of a Hot Dog," and it just
please tell me that's true.
It just never went anywhere.
Never went anywhere.
Yeah,
I wonder why.
It just made me hungry.
Interesting. Sob Rock. Speaking of interesting, Sob Rock. Much like, actually, I had the same experience when I heard that was going to be the album title. It was kind of the way I felt when I saw the title emoji of a wave.
This guy.
I'm like, what? Come on.
Like maybe 9 albums.
Yeah, come on, man. What are you doing? Quickly became one of my favorites. But I'll let you go first on this one. Sob Rock, your choice.
I didn't like this song until I saw the music video. And then I realized, I get it.
Okay.
Because I was listening to it. The problem with Sob Rock.
Whole episode right here.
The problem with Sob Rock is that opening track.
Last Train Home.
Okay. The problem with Sob Rock is that Last Train Home is so good and so genre specific that every song has to follow that. And you really can't put Last Train Home anywhere else in the album. That's got to be the first track. The problem is like now everything is after.
Everything is after Last Train Home.
And so I didn't give this song, my pick, Shot in the Dark, the time that I needed because my heart was already given to someone. My heart was given to Last Train Home. And so I was like, like this song. And then I saw the music video and him talking through a clear telephone, dancing at a drag shutter in the rain. I'm like,
this is super dangerous. That's what that is. Like,
yes, this is who I must be. That was a job opportunity in my brain. It's like, that's you. I'm like, that is me. Because he went for it. He like face first. I'm going for. Well, I feel like that actually embodies Sob Rock more than any other track because I feel like Last Train Home is a separate song. And I don't honestly think like that was written in a different mindset than the rest of the songs.
Yeah.
Although.
Well, it's a
like
weird.
4 songs were released.
It was, yeah. It was a weird. It's a weird, and it's funny because he kind of portrayed it and delivered it as this cohesive 10-song concept album almost, but it's tough to call it that when you have 4 tunes that, New Light, Carry Me Away. I guess I just feel like, what was the 4th one that came out before everything else? Maybe Last Train Home.
And Last Train Home came out, but that was like, when did New Light come out?
17
6 months?
No, years, 2017. Yeah, so
Should've
it's
been an EP, man.
Well, and arguably yes, and I'm
Maybe
sure
it's
there
a
was some reasons for including those songs to include streams for the record, and then thus boosting the whole thing. But I would agree. I think it could have worked really well as an EP.
Was he the first artist to do like the double release, where it's like you release it? Because I remember like after he did that with New Light and it became like a hit again.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, you got to release your song, like release your single and then release the song with the single on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man,
that's the thing. Yeah. I don't know if he's the first, but certainly it seems like it's become a.
He was definitely
pioneer.
Proof of concept.
Yeah. At least, at the very least. But yeah, but you're right though. I mean, Last Train Home is kind of its own thing. It does fit, but
if there were another song like Last Train Home, I feel like he needed one more.
But there isn't. You're right. There really isn't.
There should have been another one at the end.
There really isn't. And
another Train Home.
Another train.
Like,
I love the memes like, oh, when Mayer starts talking about trains, you know it's gonna be a banger. So, and I can't disagree. This was hard for me, but as I don't know that I can. Not that we're trying to one up each other, but
Nope.
but aren't we? But I feel like your explanation of Shot in the Dark and how it fits with Sob Rock. That's pretty good. You've made me rethink my choice because I chose one of the 4 songs that was previously released. I chose "Carry Me Away."
Really?
I did, and I know it's now. I'm questioning it.
I love that track.
I'm talking about a re-release. Do you remember the first version of it? They changed the drums when it came out on Sob Rock. They replaced the original version of "Carry Me Away." When it came out as a single, it didn't kick into the 4 on the floor like driving drums as quickly. That didn't happen until way later in the song.
Really?
Yeah, they re-recorded the drums and re-released it for Sob Rock. So
interesting.
Yeah, it's out there. You can go. I mean, obviously on YouTube, it's still immortalized in its original version. But I love the song because of the experience I get with it live, and it's because I know how long it's going to be. I think there's not a wasted moment in the song. And it's just this very concise thing. There's no guitar solo. It's just it's almost like a breath of fresh air at a live show, like where it's like, oh, we're doing "Carry Me Away." Cool. Okay. Right. This is 3.5 minutes. It cruises right through. I love every bit of it. Yeah, I love every bit of it. He's playing acoustic the whole time. Like there's no solos. It's just this nice tight package. Like everything works exactly how it should. And I don't know. That really doesn't. I broke my own rule because I feel like it's the whole reason for it is like my experience with it live. But part of the reason why I think I had trouble with it is because of how you described. As much as Sob Rock is like presented as this package of everything down to just like, you know, the little cassette tape that rolls on Spotify as you watch it. Very cool though. It kind of is disjointed in a little bit in some ways.
Yeah, thematic, which is weird because like on one hand, like Sob Rock I think is like his most cohesive
maybe concept
presentation and concept. Yeah. And then on the other hand, you're like, but wait a second.
Right, the music. Yeah, maybe not so with the music. Yeah.
I had a different job when New Light came out.
You know? Yeah. I mean,
I don't think I was. I didn't have a kid when New Light came out.
Yeah, that was.
And then when Sob Rock came out, I had 2.
That threw people though. I remember when it came out. I mean, like I did stuff on my main channel about that, and it was like people were like they're like, what? Like only getting 6 new songs I haven't heard before, you know, and. Like whatever. I mean, this is his last record on Columbia Records, so that could have had something to do with it too. Just like
it's like you get
throw it all on there.
You get these, and that's what you get.
And that's what you should get.
You get what you get.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope there's like Sabi or Rock or something. Like I want because I think he should explore that more because I don't think he fully. I think he has more to say in that emotion, in that sentiment. I think there's more to be explored there. Certainly now too, like with like. DSP's like falling apart, like streaming is like going insane. It's like Sob Rock is like there's a lot more to explore there. I think.
I don't know.
When was it all written? 2019.
The rest of it was like it was during the pandemic. They did a lot of the recording. I know they did some remote stuff and.
Okay, so maybe not. But
I think it had started. But I mean, it spans multiple years though, so it's a weird thing, and that's how we end this up.
Yeah.
Is with Sob Rock and the most difficult choices that I had to make.
But best like his ad with like the Porsche putting the cassette.
I mean, it's incredible.
I mean, this is so
absolutely good. The whole look, everything. I mean, and then the commitment to that for the whole tour was just awesome. Merch,
the
ads, everything was just perfect, man. I mean, like it's.
Like, and you see, I was like, I'm gonna be. I'm like ripping. I'm gonna rip all this off. Thank you, or at least attempt to,
or do it better. Do it better, and if you want to see Alex do it better, go check out Super Dangerous Studios.
I do a thing.
You do a thing on YouTube
in the same emotion, and I barely scrape by.
That's not true.
But it's interesting though because like you'd think with Sob Rock, like okay, well, where else does this guy have to go? Because he's already explored. I mean, I guess the only thing I think he hasn't gone like way up. Like he hasn't, like he covered what, Bold as Love.
Yeah.
Right?
On Continuum.
And then he covered Crossroads. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, you're like a step away from classic rock.
Yeah.
Even though you're covering them in like the John Mayer way, but it's like, what if you went like up, like Stevie Winwood or like a full on like dancier album? Because Sob Rock was like low tempo. It was exceptional. Even Last Train Home, that's like
Last Train Home is slower than you would think.
like 108 BPM.
Yeah,
Like,
it
pretty slow
seems
track.
it's one of those songs that seems faster than it actually is.
And you play along with it. You're
You're
like,
wow, I am.
dun,
Yeah, I'm like, da, nah, I'm not.
The phalanges were just like,
Really?
bah,
Yeah.
bah, on the Big Prophet and
That dude is something.
that video too.
Yeah.
That's where I got the idea of shooting you.
Oh, on the Maren Morris screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you've missed me in one of Alex's videos, go back and check. Guitar of Darkness was the original name of that video, but what is it called now? Is it still called that? Did you change the title?
No,
of it?
Guitar of Dark. I mean, the title has changed.
Okay.
Like
SEO.
It doesn't matter what I change because no one's watching it now.
That's not true. That's not true.
But
We'll fix that. Everything Mayor crowd, go watch it. Boost that back up. You won't regret it. So we're gonna wrap this. We're gonna wrap this by me thanking you for bringing me to Super Danger Studios, where I was virtually at one point on a little TV, but I'm here in the flesh now, which is amazing. So thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Freeze frame that. Yeah. Lightning bolts and some phone number on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, call now.
Yeah, but thanks, man. No, I appreciate it, and I hope that the Everything Mayor crowd appreciates it as well.
Thank you, everyone, for watching, but thanks for coming by and not commenting on the smell.
It smells wonderful in here, and that's where we'll leave it. Everything Mayor. We'll see you in the next one. It's good for a first take. Let's do a second one, and I think we'll get it.
Where are we at?